There
Finally!
Now
So I'm going to start that all over.
Take 3.
Although we had a good conversation going, your eyes are not deceiving you. ModelManTom right there.
Hey,
me,
everybody.
Bad Grendels, over here. Hi, people. We got
Hey.
2 cameras. I'm going to be looking back and forth. We've been having a long discussion about model building, industry, forums, freaky people on the beach, because we went to the beach, hamburgers with pineapple, restaurants, and how come they cost so much. We did talk about that. No,
Yep.
we didn't. Yeah, we did.
Briefly.
We've had a long conversation about a lot of things. And we should have been videotaping the whole thing, and we were not videotaping.
Yeah. There were some good moments in there we could have.
Yes, I'm sure all of you would love to have heard. So, we're
can try and
videotaping.
recap some,
We can.
I think.
Yeah, I think we can. We talked about Tom's business modeler brand
Yep.
and his LED sales. We talked about Radio Shack dying, which to me wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because it's a bad thing because if I need a resistor, I can't just go get it anymore. Living in small town Texas, we got limited availability of that stuff. But it's not a bad thing, because $4 per LED was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay?
Totally.
Tom has a business selling LEDs, and we were talking about what he could do to help improve that. So if anyone has any ideas, forward them that way.
Yeah, stop by modelersbrand.com, or you can email me at sales@modelersbrand.com. If you have ideas for products you'd like to see, or if you've been to the website and you think maybe it could be a little clunky or it could be better, or you have just any ideas at all, let me know. I'm always happy to help and talk to anyone that is willing to talk to me.
Right? Yeah, and I've been trying to help him figure out how to redo things. So,
Some very good ideas, too.
Yes.
Thank you.
you're welcome. I've run a small business for years. I've done advertising. I've done all that. So I was just sharing the knowledge. So that was our lunch conversation.
Yep.
Before that, I don't think we really talked about much of anything before that, did we?
Here and there, the Jupiter.
You
a
showed me the
little,
Jupiter
and
too, which is sitting back in that corner.
Yeah,
You
we-
guys can see it,
We'll get some footage for you on this camera at some point.
right?
If you folks are interested, there's 1,000 fiber optics in there, and several sequencers, and God knows how many LEDs. A dozen
Right.
or 2 at least. But
Right.
the fiber optics was the big work on that one.
Right. And we've been talking about the big spring contest that will have started by the time you see my video. Tom might get his up before then. That's up to Tom. I'm not going to put a restriction saying, no, you must wait for me.
Nope.
I'm not that kind of person. He can do what he wants. That's the way I am.
We'll see. But I've been a little lazy on videos lately too myself, so
True.
That can take some time too.
True, but if he decides to put it up today before I get home, I don't care. I'm not going to cry. Well, I think half my subscribers, they know who he is, but they may not watch his videos regularly.
Right. I think a lot of my guys know who you are, and
Exactly.
every time anyone asks me, well, what about this for an LED, or how do you make it blink? I'm like, go check out Bad Grendels videos, because he's got
I know
a
how to
lot of
make
good
them blink.
stuff back there.
Right. And that's one thing I didn't talk to you about. Those pre-wired kits you buy from some of the other places around. I'm not going to name names. Tom may if he wants to. I'm not. But you can go to certain websites and you can buy a Federation blinking kit. Okay? Those kits are like $80 to $100.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And other than things like the photon effect, which I haven't figured out how to do cheaply yet, where the photon lights up and then goes off
Yeah.
when you push a momentary switch. That's got to be programmed with an Arduino or a microcontroller of some kind. But other than that, the position lights and the navigation lights, that can be done with timing chips. That I've got videos up for. That's what motivated me to learn that stuff. And those things are expensive, those kits.
Yeah,
Whereas a 555 timer chip is under $1.
easily. Yeah. And that's part of my philosophy with Modelers Brand was, rather than competing with guys who already know how to make boards, I supply all the stuff you need, so for the same price as one board from anyone else, you can get enough materials to light up several models, if not more than that. But there's a big learning curve there, too.
There is a bit of a learning curve. The 4060 timer chip, there really isn't a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's almost nothing to put it up.
Well, as far as getting the particular capacitor to work with a transistor for a particular
the resistor,
timing,
right?
or...
That's it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
you got a resistor, you got a capacitor. Once you get those two down, you just plug LEDs in. There's no resistors on the LEDs because the chip itself regulates the voltage down.
Right. That makes sense.
So it's an easy one to learn first.
Right.
It can only blink though; it can't strobe. And that's one limitation. It's just a timing chip. You put timing across to a signal pin, and then it's got a multiplier of different times on the other pins.
Oh, that's all that does?
That's all it does.
Oh, okay.
So once you get your signal, your pulse rate going from the capacitor and the resistor, the other pins are just multiples.
Oh, okay.
So if this is blinking once a second, this pin over here is blinking once every 10 seconds. This pin over here is blinking once every 5 seconds. They're multiples of 8, which, if you know anything about computers, you understand why it's a multiple of 8.
Right.
They're 8-time multipliers. But that's what it does, and that's why I just tell everyone, just play with the pins. See how you can blink.
Yeah, I figured there was like magic in there or something,
No,
and you had
no
to
magic.
cast spells. And so that's where I am with math.
Not me. I'm the other way. I know the math. The other thing about the 4060 is the polarity of the LED doesn't matter. Because it flip-flops the current.
Oh. So does that get a high frequency flickering going on for the LED?
No, not on that.
No.
Not unless you'd use the wrong capacitor resistor combination.
Okay.
Then you got a high flip-flop rate. So the LED will flicker.
Okay.
But if you use the right combination, they won't flicker.
Okay.
And that's how you can put police lights on a car. This one's on while this is off, and then they flip back and forth. They wig-wag.
That's easier than I was thinking.
It's very easy because you just put one with the positive side here, the negative side here, and on the other one you put the positive side here and the negative side here.
Okay.
Both of them coming off the same two pins. So one lights up while the other one's not.
See, I've watched all his videos on this, and that one sentence too right there just makes it so much easier to understand that I think for me a lot of the trepidation of getting into timing chips is there's something mystical about them, or there's something otherworldly, black box little thing that...
But there really isn't.
But yeah, and having someone like this to be able to talk to, it's like, oh, okay, all of a sudden clarity is like all over the place. And you're like, it makes sense, you know?
Right. And that's one of the things we were talking about with him on his Modeler brand site, is a lot of you guys want to get into lighting, but you're unsure. You've watched my videos, you've watched some of his, you still don't know how to get into it. Make some instructional videos. I keep meaning to, but I have a small business with 15 to 20 employees. Sometimes I work 80, 90 hours a week. So I don't always have time to do things. That's why my model build rate is so low. Because I've got maybe 2 hours a week to work on a model with. That's it. I've got a family, I've got a job. There just isn't a lot of time sometimes. So I was telling him, you guys need to see that you can take 2 AA batteries and a blue LED and some wire and have light. And it's that simple. No resistors.
No math, no thinking.
No. You just got to get the polarity of the LED right. If you get it backwards, it won't light up. You get it forwards, it does. That's it. Stick a switch in, turn it on and off with, and you're done. So if you got a Battlestar Galactica Viper and you want to light the rear engines, white LEDs, 2 AA batteries, and a switch. That's all you need.
Yep.
You want to light the cockpit? That's a little bit different. Some fiber optics and some Tamiya clear paint for the fiber optics.
Because Sharpie marker won't work.
I tried. I tried it too. It don't work. I've tried.
Oh, Sharpie's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Nah, not
I've
quite
tried
strong
Future
enough.
floor polish
Oh.
with food dye. Don't work.
Huh.
It'll work as a clear paint, but it won't work on the fiber optics. The light's too intense and it washes it right out.
That makes sense.
You don't have enough dye saturation in the future.
That makes sense.
But Tamiya paint does work. But you got to be careful with it because it scrapes right off the fiber.
No. There's
So-
always these little tricks here and there.
And here are a few YouTube channels that might interest you. As always, the Scale Model Addict. Scott Gervan brings you his own work, and the Scale Model Addict Forum and Scale Model Addict Magazine. Dr. Faust's The Painting Clinic. Check out Tony for miniatures and model painting. What time is it? It's cranky time. With his lab rat Ori assistant Igor, Dr. Cranky brings you the best in rats, rods, and rust. Steve Neal's Garage with Rosie the Wonder Dog, Mary, and Xena, featuring feature film props, restorations, and scale model artistry. Scott Alexander of Atomic City Models, specializing in 2001: A Space Odyssey model recreations and a few other notable genre pieces as well. Braddock 001, whether a 1-to-1 scale Borg sleep station, droids of any make or model, or even popular superhero armor or any kind of sculpture, look to Brad Carpenter to bring it. And for the trials, tribulations, and tales of my car Red 2 and its droid lemons, check in on Gears McTinkerson. Bad Grendels for fine model work, timer chips, and electronics knowledge. The ModelManTom channel would like to thank the following for their sponsorship. Elliot Brown of Kingston Vacuum Works, featuring Fedoratron.com and WarmPlastic.com. Lighting for extraordinary modelers, and vacuum-forming tables for designers, modelers, and engineers. Kingston Vacuum Works covers it all. Paul at thefiberopticstore.com, now presenting the beta version of its new site, thefiberopticprojects.com, for an exceptional selection and great prices of fiber optics of all sizes and quantities. Thefiberopticstore.com. Carpenter Creations. If you can dream it, you can make it. Brad and Carpenter, science fiction artistes. From full-scale Borg cubicles or droid displays of all kinds. Carpenter Creations. Steve Neal's Garage. Props and models for motion picture and discerning collectors, as well as prosthetic makeup and CG. Contact Steve through stevenealsgarage.com. Model reviews from Round 2 Models, AMT, MPC, Polar Lights, and Lindbergh. Scale Model Addict Magazine. Issue 3 now available. Issue number 4 is in the works. The Orbital Defense Engineering Commission, a 2001: A Space Odyssey specific forum for scale model kits, reviews, news, and discussion. Odec.proboards.com. More than just talk, hobbytalk.com, a forum for every hobby. And for the finest reference collection of feature film studio props and miniatures and models, it's Modelers, Miniatures, and Magic at modelermagic.com.